Thank you, Mark. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Tonight we have an all-Truro cast on. Jim Goy is who's our DG nominee-elect, or nominee, whatever abbreviations you want to use for 2015-16. And because he's a past president, he's going to have Lori on there helping him out and making sure he does everything right. I'm going to just turn it over to the both of them, who I know will do a fabulous job. The floor is yours, folks.
I'm hoping Jim is on the call, on the site. Are you there, Jim? Did you check in with Jim? Was he?
Jim was talking, yes.
He was talking. I can't hear him.
Yeah, Jim was on a moment ago.
Are you there, Jim? Hello,
yeah,
Jim?
Yeah, there I am.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
I had inadvertently I had muted myself.
Okay, perfect.
Well,
Excellent,
good evening,
Jim.
everyone. And all right, we're ready to go? We're ready to roll. Okay, well, thank you very much, Greg, and thank you, Mark, for organizing this. As Greg said, my name is Jim Goyd. I'm the immediate past president of the Rotary Club of Truro, and I'm the district governor nominee designate. That's hopefully confirmed at the annual meeting, but I will be district governor in 2015-16, and I'm looking forward to it. Lori, my partner in this venture, is the current president of the Rotary Club of Truro, and she and I both have a fair amount of experience with administration of the Rotary Club of Truro, and we would like to share a few of those things with you. So I think we'll begin. I'll run a few slides and then turn it over to Lori, so you don't have to listen to me the whole time. As Mark mentioned, there will be opportunity for questions. He'll be monitoring the chat, and we think this will run just around an hour, and we hope it'll be practical for you to see what goes on in a Rotary Club and the sorts of expectations that are out there for the administration of club. I've tried to make this practical, the things that you're going to experience as an incoming president starting in July, and I think with all that I'm going to start off. First off, we're going to try to help you understand your role as a leader in the club. We're going to help you try to identify how to prepare for your year as a president, as an executive, and a leader in the local club. And finally, some tips on how to work with District and Rotary International, the two other layers of Rotary that you don't tend to see as a club member, but you'll see more and more as a leader in the club, and particularly as president and secretary. Most everything you're going to find is in the Club President's Manual. If you haven't had a chance to download that from the RI website or it hasn't come to you, you should look at it. The URL is on the bottom of this presentation, but you can find it by going to the Rotary website and Rotary International website and just searching for it. It's just jam-packed.
Jim, excuse me. They all have a physical copy too, a hard copy.
Excellent. I tend to read my things online, but yeah, it seems less intimidating when you're looking at it online than when you're faced with this document in front of you manually. But everything we're going to talk about is in there in one way or short form. We're trying to pick out the highlights for this presentation tonight. Things that you should remember. This is your opportunity to lead the club. For many of us, being president of a Rotary club is you only get to do it once. I know some smaller clubs you get to recycle, but for many of us this is your one and only opportunity, and although you can lead from the bottom many times, this is your one opportunity to lead from the top. Rotary is changing, members are changing, we must keep up with that. We need to do what works for your club. We're going to talk about some things tonight that may not work in all club situations, but be aware that there are different alternatives, different models, all within a framework, and you can follow up on that. Don't be afraid to ask for advice. There's a wealth of Rotary knowledge in and around the various clubs and in district, and I think you should you should avail yourself of that knowledge anytime you can. Get to know your members and their families. Social events, fundraising activities, etc. are all great venues, but this is a club function, and your role as a leader is to reflect what your club is all about. Engage new members right away. You're going to find that new member, that critical 6th, 8th month, first year of a member, what a club is all about, this is the time that you would be able to engage them and make good Rotarians out of good club members. Finally, recognizing members for your efforts in service above self. Nothing goes so far as to be recognized by your peers in the club, particularly for new members, but also for Rotarians that have been around for a long time. Having the president say just casually, "Good job, Tom," "Good job, Mike," "Good job, Mark," goes an awful long ways, and it's one of the key roles that the leader of a club can follow, and in terms of administration of a club, it's one of your key functions. Now, there are a set of minimum standards set out by Rotary International or suggested by Rotary International. I'll just briefly go through them. They're all very nicely summarized on the club leaders' responsibilities on the RI website, their YouTube website, and I don't expect you to copy that URL at the bottom, but if you go out on Google and just Google Rotary Club Leaders Responsibilities, you'll find it very nicely articulated. But largely it is, the first thing you might imagine is making sure that your club has paid its per capita dues to RI and to district. This is a minimum standard. Providing timely member reports to RI, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes, but one of the things that you'll soon discover if you've been secretary already, the first thing you notice, and it happens to presidents as well, you'll suddenly get a request for the information, request for the be able to manage your membership information, and the dues are all driven from that. You want to assure that you have regularly and well-run meetings. The standard has been once a week, but that's changing somewhat depending on the types of clubs you're having, but ensure that those meetings are well run. This is the responsibility of the president. You're going to want to implement service projects addressing the needs in your local community and in communities around the other countries. This is your opportunity to influence that and your responsibility to make sure that it happens. You're going to receive the visit of the governor, the assistant governor, or the RI officer, and the case may be. And again, it's the president's and leadership responsibility to make that happen. And finally, something we hope never happens in your club, but you're going to find out right quick that it will. There'll be internal disputes of one sort or another, and it's the president's responsibility to manage those amicably. What distinguishes an effective Rotary Club from those that might be not so effective? An effective Rotary Club, of course, seeks membership opportunities wherever they can find them. Be always on the lookout for the type of memberships that will make your club stronger. There's been a whole section on membership, I know, in a previous session, so we don't need to dwell on it, but an effective Rotary Club is always changing its members, getting new members to come in and growing, replace those that are leaving. Implement successful projects at home in a way that meet the needs of others, almost goes without saying. Developing leaders capable of serving in Rotary beyond the club level. This is one you may not have thought of, but certainly as you become good Rotarians after the club, then what? Being able to show those leadership skills beyond the club level shows an effective club. Supporting the foundation, the Rotary Foundation, through both program participation and financial contributions. You'll find that the effective clubs, you just look at the list of who's contributed to the foundation and who's been able to be part of scholarship programs or the other things that the foundation offers. This is an effective club. Finally, a club that's working within the 5 avenues of service. You should have projects, at least small things going on within the club, within the community, within international, vocational, and lastly, new generations. Effective clubs work in all those areas to one extent or another. They may in fact have stronger organization things within an individual members may be more active in one area of service than another, but all 5 avenues should be somehow involved. This is a graphic from Rotary International, and it sort of summarizes that. The pillars of RI are these 5 avenues, and they just reiterate what I've just said: implementing successful projects, sustaining and increased membership, having fun, meeting the humanitarian needs, developing leaders, and developing the next generation of leaders and peacemakers. Also, RI has, and you might think about this as you're developing your project ideas, areas of focus that Rotary International is, Rotary Foundation is responsible for or interested in: peace and conflict resolution, disease prevention and treatment, water sanitation, maternity and child health, basic education and literacy, economic and community development. You'll find many of the things that you're doing in service will in fact follow in those areas. Now, one of the main challenges in a club of any size is managing the information that's required to run the club, to meet those minimum standards and go beyond, to do all the things effectively. And one of the first things you're going to want to do is look into the RI website. And right at the very top, you'll see that there's a, if you haven't already been to the website, there's this member access spot. If you click on that, you're going to be able to find this login screen. Every Rotarian has the ability to log in and see behind the scenes. As president and secretaries, you have an additional power, but you need to be able to log in first. If you already have been there, you'll know that you just log in with your email and the password that you've given, and away you go. If you haven't there, it's a simple process to create a login. By clicking this button, another screen will come up. It'll ask you a couple questions. You may need your Rotary membership number, which you can get from your secretary or the past copies of the list that RI sends out. But you'll be given an account almost immediately, and then you can log in. When you do that, you're brought up to a screen that looks very much like this. Now, if you're not a president or a secretary currently, you see a cut-down version of this. On July 1st, as secretary or president, this part appears that you don't have access to as a regular member. I know that Stella and others have already talked about the club activity part, and that's another session. I'm going to concentrate mainly on this updating club membership, updating club data, the club balance report, and the semi-annual paying your dues semi-annual report. So, updating club membership. As I said, the due structure and everything around RI revolves around this particular screen, and you'll have access to that as president and secretary. In there you'll find the little details about the number of active members that it says are there. You'll be able to view, edit, and terminate them if that's what you need to do. I've masked their numbers here because this happens to be my club. And there are pages, in our case 67 of these records. You can also look at it here. There are other spots to look at members that have left your club in times gone by. And it maintains these records long after the current year or someone has left for whatever reason. They exist, continue to exist on your in your profile. But this is where you would go if you wanted to edit somebody's address. They can do it themselves, or you can do it for them, and is a very useful thing to be able to do. I find this is a really good place to be able to, again, the member that has left your club, to be able to terminate them. And I say that in the kindest sense, not terminate in the unkind sense. But they're leaving your club. A little tip that you'll want to be able to, you should, if you're going to clean up your records, have your current president and secretary clean up the records before the 1st of June, because the semi-annual report that we'll talk about in a second is driven by that that record, sort of the 1st of June to the 1st of July, and you'll be receiving your balance, your statement, as of that time. So if you can clean up your records before the 1st of June, and I think it's the 1st of December, that's the second time, then you'll find your life easier when you take over the reins. You won't have to be going back and amending the report. Updating club data. This is something that occurs occasionally, but you may want to know how to do it. Certainly the secretary can do it. But if, for instance, you find yourself, and there's all a plethora of where the club meets and their phone number, email address, website, all those things that will be of interest to you are edited in this spot, and that goes into the official directory and should be maintained. I've had the unfortunate experience of going to look for a club and found out that they had moved 3 years ago from where the club directory said that they were meeting, and that's not a good view of your club. So make sure that you maintain this, at least review it at the start of your year, and you can look at the current officers, the incoming officers, any partner organizations such as Rotaract, other organizations that you deal with are all dealt with right across this screen. So again, a thing that you'll want to look at. Finally, you can pay your semi-annual dues online, and our club has found this a tremendous asset. Our club has generated its own credit card, but before that, when I was president, this was before this occurred, was secretary actually, I had to pay it personally and be reimbursed. Our club now pays our dues directly online using this form with our club credit card, and it saves a lot of hassle. The secretary and treasurer are much happier. So this is all doable right from the screen. Now, if you're a member of the Club Runner family and have implemented integration with the RI website, a lot of those tasks can be done from the Club Runner website. Certainly maintaining the active member list. When you add a member to this, you change their or they change their address or email address, it automatically gets sent to Rotary International without any further work on your part. I find it very useful. The Club Runner website, of course, has all sorts of other features, including committee management that Lori will talk about briefly, about what makes, how to manage that. But about 60% of our clubs are currently involved with Club Runner, and I'd like to see that even higher. But certainly, it really helps in terms of the administration of your club to have a good, active website, and the Club Runner website fills that process very nicely. So, your year as club president, you're going to want to understand those service opportunities that are available in your community. You're going to want to talk to the members about what they want to do and match that to yours. You're going to identify the leaders for each of those objectives. And Lori, am I already stealing into your time here?
Well, I wasn't going to interrupt you, Jim, but you're doing very well.
No, but I think you should take over from this point. Do you want me to continue to run the slides?
Please. Hello, everybody. Lori Sanderson here. I want to thank Jim for asking me to participate in this training session. I'm really impressed with this technology. I've never done this go-to meetings over I've done the phone thing once or twice, but not on the computer. So I got myself a little microphone here and headset, so we're all in business. I'm a relative newbie to Rotary. I'm in my 5th year as a member. And I must say, Jim's comment, always look to your own club for support, and I've been very fortunate to have been able to get advice and lots of support from many past presidents of our club. Our club's been around for a number of years. In fact, in Jim's year as district governor, we'll be celebrating our 90th year as a Rotary club. So it's been a fun ride so far as president, and I've enjoyed it, learned lots of things, and it is a real leadership training opportunity. So Jim left off there, seek commitment for what is realistic and achievable in terms of your plans for the year. tell your club what your team will do, and you may want to share the strategic plan if your club has one. Again, I kudos to Jim for about 4 years ago developed, I think it was the first strategic plan that the club had developed, and it's set out as a 3-year plan and looked at every year, and hopefully you can keep that moving forward as your new executive comes in. Report your progress regularly, kind of like a monthly check-in at your club meetings, and report on what's being talked about at directors' meetings, and help members become engaged as Rotarians, and that is really key, and I know that probably was talked about a lot during the membership training session. Leading your club, promote fellowship. So we want to have fun as Rotarians. That's top of the list for a lot of us, and if you're not having fun, then why are we involved? So we do several socials throughout the year. Halloween social we've done in the past. We have a fall and a summer get-together. We've done Christmas parties in the past, and in fact we in the past 3 or 4 years have started the habit of doing a YouTube Christmas greeting that we put up on our website, and we pick a different Christmas song every year, and a couple of us have our guitars there, and we sing the Christmas greeting. So we enjoy doing that as well. Lead problem-solving initiatives. So if there are some little hiccups along the way, it's your job as president to try to resolve those small issues as they arise. Build on your past successes. If something's working well, continue and try to build upon those successes. Always be accessible to members and be a good communicator. And it's important that you have back and forth dialogue with your members. Embody the principles and the values of Rotary and encourage others to do the same. So that discussion really takes place before new members join with the fireside chat and what Rotary is all about. Ensure that every club member is active and that they understand the service above self motto. And that's really why we're all here and doing what we do in Rotary. Club leadership team. So in our club, we've got a president, a president-elect or a vice president. We have a club secretary, a club treasurer, immediate past president, a sergeant-at-arms. We have several directors and committee chairs. So some clubs may differ a little bit. This is one way it could be set up. Okay, Jim, we can go to the next one with club committees. The club committees are really key to running your Rotary Club, and I found out when I took on the job as president that that was probably one of the most important things I had to get established. And in fact, president-elects out there that are listening to me, it's not a bad thing to start thinking about what your committees will look like come July 1st right now, and be talking to some of your members about where their interests might lie in the 5 avenues of service. It's nice to be up and running on July 1st with all of your committees and people in place, your members, who's going to look after public relations, club administration, service projects, and be your representative to talk about Rotary Foundation and promote givings to the foundation.
Lori?
Yep.
Sorry, this is Mark. Debbie Gascoigne had a question in chat. Can you tell us what your club directors do?
Our club directors serve on the 5 avenues of service. So we have a director and a deputy director that sits on the community committee. So anything related to the community surrounding Truro, they look after incoming requests as well as what the club could do in any given year to assist the community where we feel the needs are the greatest. We have a director that sits on the international committee and a deputy director. We've set it up so there's 2 people as directors, a deputy and a chair, so that as one retires, another one could potentially step up. So they're kind of in training. We have a club chair that looks after membership issues, the program issues during our regular meetings, and anything that the club would do social-wise, networking-wise, and so on. We have a vocational chair and a new generations. We've combined those 2, so we have a director of that avenue of service, of those 2 avenues of service, sorry. So as requests come in related to vocational literacy and so on, they'll deal with those requests and vet those through their committees and bring any request financially to the directors' meetings so that they can be discussed and voted on. I hope that answers your question. Our strategic plan for the Truro Club is on our website for anyone interested in having a look at that. It's quite easy to find on the Truro website. An example of our committee structure, of a committee structure, could look something like this. Your club administration looks after the weekly program, the club bulletin, and website attendance and fellowship. We are very fortunate that we have had great bulletin writers. So after every meeting, there's somebody there scribing what goes on, and that's put out in a bulletin for those people that are unable to attend that particular meeting. Our website, and again, Jim, our technology guru, keeps our website very relevant and timely, and it's always being updated. Membership, we have a recruitment and retention plan, and it's also posted on our website. We felt that you know, a more concerted effort needed to be in place to not only recruit, but once you get new members, to really get them engaged early on, because last thing a member wants to join a club and then wonder what is my role in this club. So it's important to identify where their interests lie and get them involved early on. Public relations, actually the gentleman that's in charge of our program, our weekly program, is also the editor of the Truro Daily News, and he's always looking for photo ops and is very helpful in getting some publicity in the newspaper when donations are made or when our auction's on or, you know, events are happening. Our service projects are vocational related, community for sure. The largest part of our budget is spent in community project work. We have a workshops here for adults that are mentally and physically challenged, and it's a new building. Well, not so new anymore, but a building went up, I don't know how many years ago, 5 or 10 years ago. And
2005.
2005, so oh my gosh, quite a while ago. And they called it Rotary House because the Rotary Club was behind their capital campaign, and we helped significantly with their fundraising to put up the building. They're already now talking about a big expansion, and our Rotary Club will be behind them in that as well. We have a few members in the club that have a real interest in international project work. One of our members in particular is a retired teacher, and she and her husband have done projects together. They were most recently in the Cameroon doing renovations to a school that had a dirt floor, and the children were getting sick from a particular worm that burrowed in the soil and got up into the children's feet. So they managed to round up enough money through matching funds and through club funds to put a concrete floor in, get some furniture for the teachers and the students, and put a new roof and put new, I don't know what to call it, mud plaster on the outside of the building. And it was amazing how the community bought into that project, and she came home and told us all about it. And in fact, I've nominated Lydia's husband. This is the member of our club. Her husband travels with her on a number of these international outings for the Arise Spouse Partner Award, Service Award. Fundraising for the club projects, and under Rotary Foundation, certainly we have to think about our commitment as a club to the foundation, and you know, every member every year, our commitment to that. So, moving right along to effective committees, it's important to appoint committee chairs who have experience, and I also would say have interest and a passion for that particular area. Appoint committee members based on their abilities. Now, I was appointed in my first year as a director to the International Committee, and I thought, well, I don't have much experience in that area, but I sure have an interest, and I worked as a deputy director and learned a lot about international development work and where our dollars here locally could make a big impact in developing countries. We generally appoint members to 3-year terms, but that's flexible. smaller clubs, you don't want to burn people out, and you want to, and in larger clubs like ours with 65 members or so, it's nice to give as many people an opportunity to participate as a director. So it's important to retire directors every so often. Add subcommittees as necessary, and opportunities will arise where you might need a small committee to work on something. We identified a few years ago that we should do a community needs survey. So a small community needs committee was established to go out and talk to various public and private sector agencies to see where the real needs were in the community. Define purposes and help set goals. As president, you can work with these people in their various committees and help them along the way. Encourage committees to keep records. This is always helpful when the district governor comes to pay a visit to your club, and the district governor is asking, what have you accomplished over the year? Well, it's really good if you can go back to your records and say, okay, under community, we did this, this, and this. International, we were involved in a project in the Cameroon, and so on. So it's really helpful. It's like keeping a diary. Encourage your committees to communicate, report to the club throughout the year. In our club, we have one meeting a month that's called a club meeting, and it's an opportunity for committees to get together and discuss projects and to get up in front of the total membership and report what successes they've had through the year. Participate in committee meetings as appropriate. So as president, you can certainly invite yourself to some of those meetings. Annual and long-range goals. Important to have some long-range goals for your club. Involve future leaders and cover the next 3 to 5 years for the Rotary Club. Our first strategic plan that Jim Goit was instrumental in getting going went for 3 years, so that was done about 4 years ago, and we've just presented the next 3-year strategic plan to the directors for their comments and feedback. Address elements of an effective club and each avenue of service to pursue the object of Rotary, and include action steps for achieving them. So it's fine to have goals, but you have to actually say, okay, this is how we're going to get them done. These are the people that are going to be asked to take charge, and it never hurts to evaluate how things have gone along the way, and if things aren't working, don't keep doing them. Annual goals support the long-range goals. Some things like your club's support to the Rotary International Foundation is important to take a look at. I know in some clubs, the club will actually match whatever members donate to the RI Foundation. My father is a member of a club over in Charlottetown, and they do that in his club. Developing strategic plan. Assess the club's current conditions. So understand what's going on today, and then what we could improve upon in the future. And to help you ascertain that, you might conduct a club survey. 4 years ago, our club did this, and we discovered a few things that could be improved upon, and we put those things in place. Something as simple as going from a dinner that was served, so we sat down, waited to be served, and then our business meeting started after that, to going to a buffet where when people arrive, they can go fill their plate with food, network, talk to people, and it just allowed for more time for people to get to know each other and socialize. Brainstorm ideas, even as at a club meeting or amongst your directors, at your monthly meeting with directors. Work out the club's area of focus, whether you're going to focus on youth, the elderly, schools, health, or a little bit of everything. Speak with community members, get to know what the needs are out there. Contact district leadership. They're always there, and they're very, very helpful. And consult with other clubs. When I did the PETS and SETS training where we all came together, that was one of the best learnings for me, was talking to other clubs and what they were doing for fundraising, what they did for how they contributed to RI, and so on. It was very enlightening. And use the RI Presidential Citation. That's something that clubs can do every year, and you tick off the list all the things that you're doing as a club that are cited in the Presidential Citation. When developing your club's plan, assess your club's current practices to determine what's working well and what is meaningful. Make sure that your members are aware of the initiatives and have a chance to voice their opinions so they feel a real part of the club. More member involvement certainly increases the potential for future club and district leaders, and retention, which is key. All members are working to achieve their club goals because they're engaged. They're part of the plan. Now, effective goals that you set out for your club, those are the SMART acronym there. They're shared, they're measurable, they're achievable, realistic, and they're time specific. And never hurts that they're challenging to reach. It's always nice to have a challenge set out in front of you. It makes us all more motivated to get the job done. Moving along to meetings. Plan and conduct weekly club meetings. Our weekly meetings are held at a local convention center, and we have a program every week except for one club meeting a month, which I, as president, take the time to report on what's happened during the directors' meetings, because a lot of the stuff that happens at your directors' meetings that sometimes go unheard of unless the president or somebody's communicating all of this information. So what motions were passed to support a child, for instance, that has a disability, or building a fence for an autistic child that you know, they want to. Mother had written to us and said, I'm really at my wit's end. I need to keep my child contained, and a fence would do the trick. So we offered some help to construct a fence. Assistant governor meetings. We are fortunate in our club to have the assistant governor for our region as a member of our club. So we sometimes take him for granted, but he tries to do his official duties once in a while as assistant governor, and other times he's a member of the club and socializing and doing his part as a member of the club. We have board meetings once a month. They're usually held, we rotate between the directors' homes, and we have a bit of do our business and have a bit of a social gathering after, and there's often some yummy nibblies and to have at the end, so it's a great time to socialize. The district governor's official visit, of course, it can happen anytime from July throughout the district governor's year. I think the district governor usually tries to get those visits into the fall. We promote the RI convention a little bit in our club. I wouldn't say we promote it as much as the district conference. Most recently, I put an email out to members and asked if they were interested in attending the district conference in Halifax this May, coming up next month. And if there was depending on the interest, we would like as a club to help offset some of their costs. So I just wanted to get a feel for how many people would be going and that we would help them get there. RLI, Rotary Leadership Institute, we've always promoted RLI, and a couple of years ago, Jim, I think we had 10 members attend an RLI session in Truro. That was probably because it was here, right in our own backyard. But we provided, we supported the registration costs for all the members. So that's one way to get members to RLI, and invaluable the training that you get at those events. Effective meeting programs. Determine your programs in advance. We're very fortunate to have a very reliable and keen program chair. And he reaches out to the club asking for ideas, and we generally have no trouble filling our programs every week. We rotate the planning responsibilities, relate the programs to current club projects and activities. We use the Rotary calendar as a guide, and it's kind of nice to know there's particular months that are membership months, and you might want to concentrate more on talking about retention and engagement of members. Include your programs that update members on Rotary information. Begin and end the meetings punctually. This is very important, as we meet at noontime, so people are taking an hour and a half out of their work day to attend the meeting. So we want to be conscious of time, and so it's up to the chair of that particular meeting. We rotate chairs, so every week there's a different chair. It gives people an opportunity to lead a meeting, and we tell the chairs, tell guest speakers to try to keep within 15 minutes for their talk and the question and answer session. We have a really good bulletin writer as well that takes on the responsibility of putting it out to all members after the meeting. Club assemblies, they are particular club doesn't, we don't call it a club assembly, we call it a club meeting once a month. But some clubs have a special time set aside for club assemblies, and it could be a regular meeting place or at a different place. And that's a meeting of everybody, club members, your officers, directors, and your committee chairs, to talk about the plans for the future for the club, what's working, what's not. An opportunity for members to air any new ideas they might have. And 4 assemblies are recommended per year. We really have one every month, and that's an update on what's happened at directors' meetings. So I guess that's it for me. Jim, you want to take on the club constitution?
Well, thank you, Laurie. It's Laurie has said some interesting things there about the clubs. We've made a lot of changes in the last number of years, but it's been in response to what the club members have asked for, and it's been, I think, very effective in keeping our members engaged. And I won't take all the credit for it. Certainly, members such as Laurie has put her own stamp on it, and we have a good slate of officers coming in behind us, Laurie.
Yes.
A few other things that we should talk about is that you'll deal with as club president that I think bear reminding. The Rotary Club Constitution, you should all have a constitution, or required by the RI bylaws to be adopted by all clubs and to be a member. And then they provide guidelines for the operation of your club. There is a standard one that you can modify. I think if you haven't done this recently, you should have a look at your bylaws, your constitution and bylaws. I know that since I've been a member of the club, we've reviewed ours at least 3 times, and there's always little things that you need to be able to do to bring your club back online, and it comes in very handy. We were audited by Revenue Canada, our charitable wing was here just a few years ago, and we needed to have our bylaws on side. In fact, we had to update them some after that bit of an audit with the CRA. So I'd suggest that you look at them and look at them fairly regularly, and this may be the year that you want to do that. I know that it's a thankless task for some people, but there are usually 1 or 2 members in the club that will take this on and have a look and see that it's meeting the needs of your current situation. Financial responsibilities, of course, are your mostly the club treasurer, but the president, of course, is responsible for it. You're going to want to look after making sure that you have a budget prepared and that you have your dues sent to RI. Develop your budget and use it. When I was president a year or so ago, I spent a fair amount of time putting together a budget, looked at the previous year's budgets, decided on my plans, as Laurie has already outlined, then went down and said, all right, International Committee, here is the money that you have to spend, and then do a tracking during the year to keep the cost reasonable to members, but also be responsible, because you have to perform an audit every year of one sort or another. We do a review engagement, but with the amount of money that our club is dealing with, we have to be responsible to our members and to the public as to where that's spent, and prepare that financial report and give it back to members. Club reporting to requirements, again, an administrative task. Basically, to RI in the district, they'll be looking for those semi-annual reports to pay the capital dues. This gets back to your membership base. Changes in membership or an officer or meeting information, those all need to be reported annually, and our information for the official directory. For the district, you need to find those, again, those semi-annual reports are the way that the assessment to district is paid, any changes to membership. And finally, the monthly attendance. This seems to have fallen a bit out of favor in the last year or two. I only have it here because it's included in the current district bylaws that are in fact being looked at, but some have gone away from attendance reporting, but as a measure of engagement, some clubs do this. Our club is one. We do it on Club Runner. I know that other clubs in the district do, and it's a matter of saying, well, where is so-and-so? He hasn't been here recently. How engaged are they in our business? Finally, to the Rotary Foundation, you'll need to maintain good records of your expenditures of any projects that you have with the foundation. The official visit of the district governor, next year that'll be Greg, will focus on the attention that on the importance of Rotary issues in the life of the club, motivating Rotarians to participate in service activities, and recognizing outstanding Rotarians for their contribution. This is somebody has muted me and unmuted me. It's
Yes.
someone else.
Sorry about that, Jim. This is Mark.
Sure.
I was clicking on myself and GoToMeeting jumped up and I muted you. Sorry about that. Alex Handyside just typed in the chat. Do you track members by name or just by quantity? Thank you. Sorry about that.
In terms of the way we do them on a meeting basis, but we give them credit for every activity that they're involved with, and we do it all through our Club Runner site. So we look at it as meeting attendance. But if there are other things that go on, of course, we recognize people for activities above and beyond normal committee work and attendance at meetings, and we do that through our recognition program. So if it's on a matter of Rotarian of the Year, we have a good basis for doing that as well. But no, every member is for every meeting and every other activity counts towards those makeups. So I was getting back to the official visit of the DG. This is a great opportunity for your club members to be recognized for their contributions. And the purpose of district, some people misunderstand or what district it's all about. The district, this is right off the RI website, and I thought was probably the best definition of what district does. District exists to help Rotary clubs excel. The district connects the clubs to each other and to resources from RI. Also train club leaders, facilitate programs such as the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, the Rotary Youth Exchange, to ensure that Rotarians, and this is important, to ensure that Rotarians get the most from their membership as shining leaders in their community. So the district is someone that you'll find out more and more as you get into the upper levels of club leadership. You'll bump into district and they're there to help you. The district governor, you'll see these acronyms, I put them there. District governor is DG. The district governor-elect, that's Stella, she's DG. Stella next year will be DGE. The district governor nominee, that's currently Stella, next year will be me. If I had district governor nominee designate, that's my current title, even though it doesn't exist. The assistant governors, those are a number of them around the region. Ours is Wayne Gillis. Secretary, treasurer, trainer, foundation chair, and then the various committee chairs. So it kind of mirrors what goes on at the club at the district level. Your assistant governor, as Lori said, is there to help you to implement the club leadership plan, to encourage clubs to follow suggestions from the district governor that sometimes come down from RI, to plan district governor's visits, and to identify future leaders, both at the district and maybe perhaps even at the RI level. So you can expect your assistant governor to act as a conduit for you to district, although it's mighty easy to get a hold of any of us at any time, and to advocate at your club at that level. If there's a president's council that operates in your area, the assistant governor manages that, getting your clubs together to foster that communication. That's an AG's role. To individual club visits and calls during the year, and to provide available resources if you need it. Finally, I want to wrap up with club communications, and I'm going to just touch a few high points here. As president, you're called upon to communicate for your club, but also to make sure that it happens. The first thing you want to do is have somebody in your public relations committee. If you don't have it, you need to have that thought out, and that's a very key role. You want to ensure that your club projects and activities will attract positive media attention for the good of Rotary as well as for your club membership and donations. This is critical. You want to seek publicity for those successful projects and be always thinking about where can I highlight this, or how can this be highlighted in the media or in my community so that Rotary receives the benefit from it. You may be called upon to serve as club spokesman, or you're alternately identify someone who is suitable as a club member to do so. And if you need to, take some training on this. It comes in handy. I'll just relate a little story. When I was president, I arrived at my meeting at just about 12 o'clock, and there was Dan McIntosh standing with his video camera in our doorway. I had 30 seconds. He wanted to film our meeting, and we were making a little, one of our key donors, someone we had given an award to, had passed away recently and wanted the club take on this person's passing. He said, "Are you going to do a service?" And I said, "Yes, we will." "Can I have somebody to talk to?" I said, "Yes, you can." We did everything we needed to do. In fact, I recruited Lori, who knew the person personally, to come in and say a few things. We got national and international coverage for that as a result of that quick thinking and having seizing an opportunity, and our club benefited from it. Inspire members to promote Rotary and participate in club public relations. It isn't just the committee, it's every club member that has the opportunity to do this. You want to use all your communication channels. 80% of our clubs currently have a website. I don't know why it's not 100%, but 80% are showing up with a website. Make sure that it's up to date and effective. Make sure that you've developed those relationships with media that you need to be able to track. Lori's already mentioned we have the local newspaper editor as one of our members, but there are others. We've dealt with Eastlink in the past. Deal with social media, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And this is to share your stories to a much broader audience. And I'd just like to show this to you if I could. I'm going to bop out of here and bring up my screen. I'm going to maximize it. And you can see that the Rotary Club website is the first step to have it as your main promotional tool, not only for your club when it does that function as well, but for the outside world. So this is our website, and you'll see I have a series of stories that run through it. We'll do birthdays for our club members. We'll do things that the club is involved with. These, in fact, appear in our newsletter as well as are out into the public. People that travel, you can look at these. This is one I want to highlight. Our community workshop people had a penny drive where they collected $1,206 in pennies. This is the workshop, Rotary House workshop, that we supported in the past. They now gave us $1,206 that their clients collected to give back to Rotary. And we took that into our club and presented it. We'll now present that to RI on their behalf towards the Polio Plus. So just as an example of that, that's on our Facebook page. I put that on our website. It's also on our club Facebook page. So there's the story linked back to our website, if I were to click that link. And that's been on there for a couple days. I've already got 95 people who have seen it. 63 of those are not sort of friends of this club. They come from elsewhere to have looked at it. Only 32 are friends of our total 157. Only 32 have come to it directly. The others have come from other places. Well, why is that? You see over here that I shared it with the Rotary International District website. There it is. It appears right here on the little feed that goes live. Everything that appears on the district Facebook page appears on the district website. But there's the district Facebook page, and you can see it right there. Already we have had 49 people look at it there. 887 people have seen the most popular page. And if I jump quickly over here, people follow these from all over the world. It jumps up onto our Twitter page. There's the same story on Twitter. And here it is. The Rotary Club of Alameda in California produces a daily newspaper. And what is the story that they've connected to? Right back to the Rotary Club of Truro. And if I click on that link, I go right back to our story. So this is now a global story about a service project that just happened in the little town of Truro, Nova Scotia. So the power of a Facebook. I look at this when this is my personal page. I watch what happens, anything that happens on the Rotary Club of Truro or the Rotary International Facebook page. I immediately get a notice of it. I can track all kinds of data. You can see how, if I bring up, what does it show here? I want to show the statistics. The average member can't see this. Postings to the website leads to traffic. This is 1,175 people were reached as a result of these stories. And now the stories are coming back up. So if you post it, they will come. If I look at the Rotary Club of Truro, the most popular story, it says, was here. It has to do with our auction. And with our auction, 14,663 people saw our post. That's every Facebook member within a 40-kilometer radius of the town of Truro. And I did that through a paid ad that cost us a grand total of $300. So this is the kind of media that we're talking about and taking advantage of. Just going to minimize that and go back to our slides. So I suggest that you use all the communications channels that are available to you. Use them all to your advantage. About 40% of the Rotary clubs in the District 7820 have a Facebook presence currently. We can link them all to our district site and manage to keep up with all the happenings that any particular club, and I can give individual clubs the ability to post directly to it, and that saves a lot of work, or share from their own Facebook sites. So what do you need to do before July the 1st? Make sure that you have member access. Make sure that your secretary has member access. Get your club leadership team ready. Lori mentioned it. Don't wait till July to do this. You should have been thinking about it now. Establish your committees. At least nominally have those people interested and ready to go. We had a meeting actually before my year before I took over, so we were ready to run. Collectively establish your priorities, plan your budget, develop your project plans, meet together and fill out the planning guide to effective Rotary clubs, and refer to that Rotary Central measures that Stella mentioned in a previous session. And finally, plan your communication. How are you going to communicate all those activities? Thank you. So with that, Mark, if you want to run the poll or if there's any questions we can answer, I think now's the time.
Okay, folks, I'm just going to unmute myself again, and I'm going to run a little poll. I'm going to take back the presenter reins there for a second there, Jim.
Yep, go right ahead.
And I'm going to launch the poll. The poll should be open now. Let's see. Can you see the poll coming up?
Yep.
Okay, just click away when you've had a chance to read down through it, and the polls will be closing momentarily, like they say here in Newfoundland on election night. I'd be listening.
It's like a little horse race. You can see it happening in real time.
Exactly. I feel like Rex Murphy now. The polls will soon be closing in Trinity. We'll wait to see if the Tories have once again carried the election. We got 56% of our voters in. 78%.
It's gaining fast now.
And 78%. We got 10 seconds left, so get your vote in, and we're going to close the polls. 3, 2, 1, and we're going to close the polls. Okay,
that's
folks.
Really heartening.
Okay, folks. I'm going to hand over to Greg momentarily. I'm going to get Greg to unmute himself there. There you go, perfect. To say goodnight for this evening. Before I go, don't forget to, when we close our meeting here tonight, after Greg does his thank you, you're going to have an evaluation at launch. I encourage you all to complete the evaluations as you've done to date. They're very useful in us planning these sessions, and they make our jobs a lot easier and make these sessions more meaningful for you. So, Greg, if you'd like to say some words.
Thanks ever so much. Thanks, Jim and Laurie, for a wonderful job. Mark, thanks to you, and thanks to all the presidents. This is the last one of the PET sessions, and I thank you for your time and for helping to make this work, and hope to see you all on the Thursday in Halifax before the convention. And hope everyone has a great night.
Okay, thanks, folks. I'm going to stop recording now.